This is the first lecture for the course of brand management. But before going into details, we need to understand that why we need to understand brand management. According to estimates, there are approximately 300 million brands in the world. Now, among these 300 million brands, when you are going to launch your brand or you are standing among these brands, what should be the task? Task is how to stand out, how to make yourself different, look different in the eye of your consumer. Regardless of investment, revenues, or company size, one of the strongest differentiator an organization can have is its brand. But brand strength doesn't happen on its own. It's a competitive advantage that need to be earned. It takes organizational self-reflection, focus, and discipline to create a brand that customers prefer over competitors. That's why brand management is important. The brand must have rules placed around it to be easily upheld and presented appropriately. And it needs to be considered to a quickly changing world with numerous cultural nuances. Brand management is an ongoing process that involves maintaining consistency around your brand and delivering on the values your organization holds to forge a positive association with your audience. This includes facts like consumer satisfaction, packaging, visual presentation, the competition, and many more. It's also a critical business practice for organizations of any size who want to stay relevant in the minds of today's powerful consumer. From the person who answers the phone at your front desk to the sales representative they interact with, to the website page they visit, to the sport people they chat or email, your organization is sending a message. Your brand isn't just a logo, a campaign, or a tagline. It's the culmination of every experience a person has with your organization, which leaves a perception in their mind. Unfortunately, you can't control perceptions. You can only influence them. The concept of brand development depends upon add value first. We all know that coffee is a very popular drink all over the world. According to the latest coffee statistics from the International Coffee Organization, about 1.4 billion cups of coffee a day are poured worldwide to 125 million coffee drinkers. Now, when these coffee beans are in raw state, their selling price is from zero point 0.4 to zero point 0.6 rupees per gram. When the same coffee bean is roasted, put in a paper bag, and is being sold, it turns from commodity to goods, and the price goes from zero point 0.4 to 4 to 6 rupees per gram. When the same roasted coffee beans are grounded, mixed with water and sugar, and served as a drink, the same price jumps to 50 to 70 rupees per gram. But when this 50 to 70 rupees per gram coffee is being turned into a brand, then it's being sold from 200 to 250 rupees per gram. So that's adding value first. Once the value is added, Then comes positioning, pricing, branding, and communication around the value proposition. Now, here comes one big question. How and why to add value to commodity of zero point 0.4 rupees per gram to 250 rupees per gram? That's one big question. The experience economy is the base theory of this concept. It is related to customer experience and is an important element to consider in the creation of competitive advantage while developing a brand. We are now living in an experience economy. So, how do we harness the power, the opportunity, and the insight in this concept while also improving the customer's experience? The experience economy is not a new concept. It merely augments the relationship economy premise. The experience economy posits that both consumer and business want more than just delivery of product and services. They expect that an exceptional, positively charged, and memorable experience will come packaged with their purchase or use of commodity. In July 1998, Harvard Business Review article, Welcome to the Experience Economy, authored by Joseph Pine and James Gilmore, summarized this concept. They said, from now on, leading edge companies, whether they sell to consumer or businesses, will find that the next competitive battleground lies in staging experiences. Imagine the wisdom in 1998, 21 years ago, speaks truth to us today in 2020. Over the past 2 decades, the experience economy has more than taken off. It has become the expectation. So much so that in today's economy, not only are leading edge companies expected to deliver a tremendous experience, virtually all companies are expected to deliver a positively charged experience to their customers. And our expectation of what denotes a positive experience has evolved as we have become groomed through an always on digital universe, social media, mobile, text, etc. We have changed our behaviors and expectations as a consumer. A recent survey in USA found that 80% of customers choose to leave a brand due to poor customer experience. Research from the US Chamber of Commerce indicates that up to 67% of customers switch brands not due to precise price or features, but due to customer experience or a perceived lack of attention, personalization, and engagement by the brand. Today's consumers are digital bunch. That's an understatement if ever one existed. We are constantly searching, communicating, and checking in. Each action we take, whether we are on a mobile device of choice or at our desktop or in a garment store or in a restaurant, has the same end game. Satisfy me. Give me the answer to my questions. Give me a platform to reach out to those around me. Give me a way to share and explore. Oh, and do all those things immediately, if you don't mind. Humor. As a consumer, our interactions with brands are no different. We no longer simply make a purchase and walk away. Consumers seek and often expect, whether we realize it or not, additional utility from brands we patronize. We want to feel like they are listening. We don't just want the goods or services, but we want an experience to sweeten the deal. Welcome to the experience economy, where, as the Harvard Business Review put it, a company intentionally uses services as the stage and goods as the props to engage individual customer in a way that create a memorable event. It's not B2B thing or a B2C thing. It's not a business to business thing or business to consumer thing. It's a value thing. Consider our personal and professional lives are weaved together digitally and through blended experiences. From consumers' experience point of view, there are two types of experiences: customer participation and customer connection. Within the experience economy, there are two types of interfaces a consumer can have with the brand, and several conclusions to draw from the distinction between the two. Customer participation: customer can participate actively or passively in an experience. In active participation, a consumer plays a key role in creating the event or interaction that generates the experience. In connection experience, physical and mental connectivity determines experience level 2. The two ends of the connection spectrum are absorption and immersion. For example, if you are taking notes in a lecture, you are more absorbed in the connection to the material than you would be if you were studying alone from a textbook. If you are watching a supporting event, standing on the immediate sidelines, you are immersed in your connection to that experience. One type of connection to experience is not more telling of consumer behavior than the other, although it's an important for marketing. At the end of the day, having the connection in the first place is the most important part. There are many considerations before building a brand amid the experience economy, but one stands out. If you want to build brand affinity, give the people what they want. What they want, it turns out, is an experience, something memorable, something they can connect with, something that makes them feel like less of a checkbook and more of a participant. Yes, you are selling your goods or your services, but what else do you have to offer to your consumers? Can you fulfill a need they didn't ask to, or maybe even they didn't know they had, somewhere within their interaction with your brand? Accomplish this. You'll have the loyalty of mobile social generation of consumers who can't wait to share their experience. Whenever this sign comes in front of us, we immediately recognize it. Yeah, we know this is a gender symbol representing female. If we see this sign, we immediately come to know that wherever this sign is glowing, this means that shop, that office, that workshop, anything that's open is their opening hour, is their working hour. These logos, these symbols, these signs, from meaning perspective, they have two parts. A signifier, the visible part, and a signified, the idea, the meaning or the concept behind. We all know smoke signifies fire. That's the saying, where there is a smoke, there is a fire. Similarly, the facial expressions often manifest unseen emotions. Even words or letters, which are only sounds, carry meaning to communicate and pursue. Like sign and symbols, brands are also imaginative signposts, signifying sign, object relations, and connecting specific sign to definite objects. Take for instance the golden arches of McDonald's or the music of wall ice creams. Kids scream for a happy meal at the very sight of the arches, or for ice cream even without looking at the vendor cart in the street. For children, the arches become a clear representation of food and fun, while for adults, golden arches symbolize many other things, such as fast food, quick, consistent service, clean washrooms, all of which are instrumental brand identity markers in impressing the image of a brand in consumers' consciousness. Scientific domain of study that explore the actions of sign system is called as semiotic. It lays out fertile territory on how brands assimilate to provide meaning and representation in the consumer ecosystem. Though brand owners and custodians create identities, consumers are actively involved in the process of signification, thereby constructing brand meaning and related connections. Every time consumer groups decide to use and recognize a sign as a vehicle to interpret vessel of other intangible qualities, in another mood, brand managers can also actively employ semiotic elements to define or aggregate brand reference. Since a brand is a system of sensory signs that incites consumers in a symbolic process, which then contributes to tangible value, semiotic is considered as one of the keystone of brand building.